Hello, my name is Derek, and I am the founder and CEO of Mindful Mental Training, and this is an introductory video to the Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy program that we offer in this digital health company. Do you find yourself stressed, rushed, and busy throughout the day, feeling overwhelmed by how much we have to do? The work in our lives can seem endless, and because of this, by the time we go to bed, we can physically be exhausted, but mentally our minds are racing, perhaps concerns about the future or stories about the past. Having these sticky thoughts run over and over again. Because we cannot stand this discomfort of a racing mind, we use technology or other ways to distract ourselves, and this is done day after day. Mindfulness can offer an alternative, in that peace is not the absence of conflict, but rather the ability to manage it. Mindfulness is a form of attention and awareness training where we cultivate this by paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, but without judgment. And through this process, we learn to develop a different relationship with our thoughts, our emotions, and even our body sensations. And this relationship is a form of kindness that during difficult or stressful times, we can be kind to ourselves as opposed to being self-critical. So just like physical exercise trains the body and strengthens the body, meditation also trains the mind. However, it can sometimes be difficult and frustrating to learn this on your own through reading a book or watching a video. And just like it's difficult to learn how to swim by reading a book, you have to get into the water and do the practice to really discover this for yourself. And this is what we offer you, is through this 8-week program in this live guided facilitation. And what we're really teaching is distress tolerance, that even though difficult things, unpleasant things can come up in our life, we can relate to them differently. Because the aim of mindfulness is not happiness or relaxation. Those can be byproducts of sustained practice, but it's actually freedom, that we don't have to be caught in these thoughts, these emotions, these stories that we tell ourselves. So the background of mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, this is more of a psychoeducational program as opposed to therapy. And what they found, the researchers and developers, is that people oftentimes got stuck having a tendency to overthink, ruminate, or worry excessively about these sticky negative thoughts. These are people who are at risk of having chronic depression. And because of this experience, they have this automatic response of wanting to avoid, to suppress, or to push away things that they don't like, especially when it comes to emotions and our feelings and the thoughts that we have. However, through sustained practice, what they discovered was that we have a control and choice in how we can respond. In training the attention, where do we place it? We see these processes unfolding as mental events, that they're not permanent, and we can do so without internal judgments or self-criticism. So why do we get trapped into this negative cycle of rumination? Unhappiness is not the problem, but it's how we relate to unhappiness that can get us stuck. So for example, we can have a sad mood, something in our day makes us upset. However, we get stuck in this cycle of thoughts, emotions, and body sensations. And some of these mental events and physical events can be more prominent. So self-criticism, the stories we tell ourselves, identifying that we're a failure, or why is this happening to me? And because of this complex situation, it's really difficult to see it clearly. But through meditation, we learn to prevent this avalanche of getting caught up in this cycle. Through practice, we recognize and see clearly that we have things in our lives that we may not have control over. Then we see these thoughts that come up in our mind, and we separate those thoughts with emotions such as anger, frustration, or worry. And as we learn to see this process unfold, the cycle, we also reveal to ourselves this impulse to act, what we call the automatic pilot or the doing mode, and how this impacts our life. But we also have a choice in where we place our attention in moving it to the body in what we call the being mode, paying attention in the present moment. And through this process, we learn to see that thoughts are not facts. Not so much the situation, but how we interpret the situation determines our reactions. That sometimes these thoughts, these stories we tell ourselves, might not be truths. But if we learn to see them as they are, that they too will pass if we don't have to dwell on them, get stuck on them. So if you want to learn more about this 8-week program and the next offerings of these courses, go to our website at www.mindfulmentaltraining.ca and sign up for our email list. Thank you again for your time.